more rest, I think, and join me on this Saturday morning. Said it was important for India to at least not concede a lead. So these 15 runs important, or is the game now still?
Yeah, nothing in it really. I wouldn't call it a lead, but yeah, they did well to get those 3 wickets. Still conceded 40 odd runs this morning in that short little spell, but yeah, at least they've got, the pitch still looks good. Okay, maybe under the cloud cover, a little bit of rain around, there's a bit more zip. Was a new ball as well, but still looks a good pitch. So India needs to bat well because clearly ahead in this test at this point.
Yeah, I mean 44 runs in 10.4 overs. You were thinking just before Mohammad Shami's those 2 wickets that this could be that typical Indian story in recent times, that Nathan Lyon and Travis Head would get a few and maybe trouble India's bowlers. So big 2 wickets to get just before the break was
started. Yeah, especially Nathan Lyon. Yeah. The way Nathan Lyon was batting, I think he's got good solid technique. He was playing some beautiful shots, he was playing the drives. So I think it's important from India's point of view that going forward, they have to realize that Australia has got depth as far as the batting is concerned, because Stark coming at 9, Nathan Lyon at 10 can bat. But I think Australia will be really disappointed that on the first day, the way the bowlers stuck to their plans and got India bowled out for a below par score, the batsmen were not able to capitalize on that. And again now, I think it is Australia who will be under pressure, because we have to also remember that they are the team which is going to play last on this wicket. And I think the batting unit now, India, I think they'll feel that the wicket will be better to bat on, because whenever there's rain around, the ball can get wet, the ball will come onto the bat, because the problem with the wicket in the first 2 days was that the ball was coming slow off the wicket. With the wetness of the outfield, the ball becoming wet, it can zip through, and I think the Indian batsmen can enjoy that. Ball coming onto the bat, you can get value for your shots as well.
All right, the play was supposed to resume at 1:52 local time, which is in just under 20 minutes from now. But there's some intermittent rain going around at the Adelaide Oval. Brad Hodge is there. I'll ask you to be weatherman just for a bit, Hodgie, before you even tell us about the significance or not of this 15-run lead. What's it like at the Oval?
Well, I'm staring outside having a look at the Oval now, and look, the lights are still on. There's marginal cloud cover above. It has stopped raining. The ground staff are out mopping up off the covers, but all in all, I think it looks like we will start on time again at 1:52.
What about that those 10.4 overs, the 44 runs, so then runs coming quickly, and 15-run lead for India. Game level pegged at the moment for you?
Yeah, I think, it's even keel at the moment. Look, I think Australia will be pretty disappointed with that. I think they have an opportunity to push on a little bit stronger, and we saw some really positive batting from Nathan Lyon. And VVS, pointed out that, these guys down the order can hold the bat. And they're very valuable runs, of course, because, they haven't done well. They haven't batted particularly well, given the fact that the Australian bowlers were able to bowl India out for 250, and the unlikelihood of that happening again is pretty slim on what looks to be a pretty good wicket. And it looks like day 3 will probably be the best time to bat.
This could be a game of fine margins. Now you're expecting a much improved batting performance from India?
You have to.
Yeah.
Because again, I still maintain that there's quality. There's talent in this Indian batting lineup. It's just about going out and playing to your talent and expressing yourself, and not repeat the mistakes which they did, especially the first day morning session, because the openers, we've mentioned so many times that whenever the Indian team goes on overseas tours, the responsibility will be a lot on the openers and the number 3 batsman. And Pujara has shown by playing that gritty knock under pressure. So it's important for Murali Vijay and KL Rahul, for their own good and for the good of the team, to give that solid start. Because what we have also seen is by the end of the first day, the Australian fast bowlers were tired. So I think it's also important to not lose wickets early on, not make that new ball effective for Australia, and suddenly the pressure will be on Nathan Lyon to pick up wickets. And if Nathan Lyon doesn't pick up wickets, then Australia will be under pressure. So I still feel this will be the best batting conditions for Team India. It's not that the wicket has deteriorated, but they cannot afford to repeat the same mistakes. They have to play with more discipline.
The damp outfield could play into India's hands if they're smart enough. I mean, don't lose too many early on. Every time the ball gets wet, it'll be much harder for the bowlers to do something with it in the air or off the pitch. Just makes batting a little bit easier. So India, I mean, like Lakshman saying, or stating the obvious, but those two at the top have got to get India some sort of a start. It will just make things easier for the batsmen to follow.
Will it make a difference to the bowling? The little moisture on the pitch or the little rain that's fallen on the surface?
It felt like odd balls zip through a little bit, but again, they were tail-enders batting, so you don't quite know when the proper batsmen face the bowling. You'll always expect this attack to do well with the new ball. It's how India counters it and be smart about it. I think Travis Head and Pujara have shown how you need to approach innings on this pitch, because it does get easier once you're in, like any other pitch. So still good conditions to bat. May not be a 450 sort of conditions, but you've got to grind your way to a score which then Australia will find it difficult to chase.
We were watching visuals of the 2003 test, Haji, which is pretty much the only test that gets played on Indian TV over here, the ones that India win abroad. But just looking at the outfield there and comparing it to the outfield here, it seems like a significant difference. Correct me if I'm wrong, but things just seem slower at this Adelaide Oval. I wonder if you've observed anything?
Yeah, is that the test match where Ajit took 6 for?
Yeah, I think that's the one. Ajit never talks about it.
That's all we mention on this show, Haji.
Well, nice. Look, I remember that test match. It was a pretty special test match, and they generally always are here at Adelaide. But looking out at the conditions, it's just started raining again, unfortunately, boys. But there seems to be some dampness, in the outfield, and it's quite slow. Generally, you get really very for shots here. A 250 target may actually be 300 in the old terms of Adelaide Oval. So generally, if you hit the ball through the infield here, it generally goes to the boundary and you get 4. But we're not seeing that today or in the last 2 sessions where you hit the ball and there's players running 2s and 3s. So look, it'll be hard work, and if the Indian batsman can get through this particular new ball period, as pointed out, then you may be watching another replay in 2019.
Okay, now we have to just hold on to confirm news as to when play will resume. Like Brad Hodges pointed out, the rain seems to have come back again. We'll keep you posted on ball by ball comms, as well as if we get any info before that. Maybe we'll take a break from looking ahead to this innings and actually talk a little bit about some interesting quotes by Justin Langer, the Australian coach, and the first of Ajit Agarkar's 6 wickets from that Adelaide test. Have a look at some things he said, the Aussie coach, yesterday. Now, Virat Kohli was certainly one that the cameras took note of with his celebrations. But Justin Langer to the press saying, or in an interview saying, I think if we did that, celebrate like Kohli at the Finch wicket, at the moment, we, as in the Australians, would be the worst blokes in the world. But it's a fine line, isn't it? That's the truth of it. He loves seeing the passion. I mean, it's great, but there is a fine line. Now, Langer's got the huge responsibility of lifting this Australian team and seems to bear a few bruises of things that have been said by everyone else at the fall of Australian cricket in recent times. But do you understand where he's coming from? If Kohli does it, it seems like passion, but if the Aussies would do it, they'd be painted as villains.
Well, they should try it. I mean, I don't know. We'll figure out. I mean, I feel sometimes Virat is over the top. There is no doubt about it. But he is consistent with it. So whether he actually that's the way he is, I think it's for the match officials to then make a call whether it's over the top or not. I kind of understand, especially with the reputation that Australia is trying to mend after what's happened in South Africa. But whether to equate it with Virat, I'm not sure is the right thing to do.
VVS?
Yeah, I just feel they've got it wrong. The Australian team, Australian coach. See, when you're playing for your country, you have to play with pride, you have to play with passion. And you're not there, trying to impress the spectators or trying to be the good boys. You have to play in a hard manner. Yes, Virat celebrates in that fashion, but what Justin Langer should be talking is going out and playing aggressive cricket. It's not about celebration, it's about showing your intent, your positiveness in the way you bat, in the way you feel, in the way you take wickets. So he should be concentrating on, did the batsman yesterday play with that positive, aggressive intent we have seen over the years from the Australian batsmen. Scoring at 2 runs per over is not something which I have seen since the time I followed international cricket. So I think they've got it wrong. Yes, what happened at Cape Town was not right. They crossed the line, but that was something to do with ball tampering. Here neither did Virat sledge, neither did he use abusive language, and that's the way they celebrate. So if I would be Justin Langer, I would be telling to the team, forget about your celebrations, forget about focusing on what the opposition team is trying to do. You focus on being the best Australian cricketer you can be. So go out there, play with the conviction that you can score runs quickly, you can score runs against any opposition, show that in your body language, show that with your positive intent, and forget about what's happening off the ground. You can't please people. I don't know why they're trying to change their image. The only way you can change your image by winning test matches, by winning test series. And that's what the Australian public are waiting from this team, to watch this team play like the great teams of the yesteryears. But it's out there. As far as the cricket is concerned, I'm not sure whether they're playing to their potential.
It's not such a bad thing for India if he's focusing on what Virat Kohli is doing, trying to then say that Australians might be blamed for it if they do it. So, good thing for India, I suppose.
Now, there's a certain, I guess, expectation of when teams go to Australia, how Australia play and the game they play. Now, Haji, before I get your thoughts, as I know you've been listening patiently, I'd love to hear what you have to say on it. But there's a second part to this. Sachin Tendulkar put out a tweet and questioning, and this is generally capturing more or less the experience by a lot of international cricketers. Michael Vaughan said something similar too. The defensive mindset by the Australian batsmen at home is something I have not seen before in my experience. VVS said that yesterday, Ajit did. I'm seeing a lot of ex-cricketers do that. Now, that was too fended off by Justin Langer. There was a response put by Langer to that tweet from Tendulkar. He was asked about it. And every time Tendulkar played, Australia, every time he's played Australia, he had Alan Border or David Boone, guys who played 300, 400 tests between them. They've got kids when it comes to test cricket playing. So they're just finding their own skin. They're fighting their backside. So not only to help us with the test match, but to find out what test cricket's about. Now let me get a holistic response from you, Bradley Hodge. Listening to this, Justin Langer's got his work cut out. What do you make of his comments?
Well, I mean, they're strange. I would have thought that... I think Sachin's got a fair point. I think there's been a lot of criticism in the way that Australia played yesterday. We didn't take the game up to the opposition. We struggled. We looked like we were out of our depth in the middle, and that's not the case. They've actually pretty good players in the lineup. Finch is a good player. Harris is a good player. Khawaja, Marsh, Hans